In Philippine martial arts systems, we deal with the weapons first before we do empty hands. It's probably the only system out there that deals with the weapons right away. We don't go work on the techniques on the hands, and then when you become better, then you can start studying some other weapons because now you're advanced. No, we deal with the weapons first. And why do we do that? Number one, it's because of the cultural background that the Filipinos have. Still, up to now, there's still a lot of people in the provinces of the Philippines that still carry machetes and bolos, and they do that because they need to harvest the crops, the rice and all that stuff in the fields and be able to, to be able to eat. And they do that to go up the coconut trees and start getting some coconuts so that way they can drink. So there's a lot of these things that we use culturally is still in the Philippines, and if they're gonna do that, we might as well learn how to defend from it, right? Besides the wild animals that might go and attack, you need to be able to, to wield that sword and be able to defend yourself doing that. But it goes far more than that. But the most important part that we're trying to do here is it's the only system that deals with the weapons first. And why do we do that? Because imagine you dealing with the sword all the time, and that sword's coming at you and, poking you and everything else, or knife, right? It's a shorter version of the sword and it's cutting you and everything else. And then what are you gonna do? Your level of awareness increased so much because you know that if you make just one simple mistake, you can get easily, cut, and it could cost you your life. And that's simple as that. So imagine dealing with that versus dealing with the hands, right? If you're dealing with the hands, then you're like, somebody grabs you. So it's all right because you're always used to seeing the clubs and the knives and the things on your throat and wielding at you and moving, and versus the fact that, you're dealing with the hands and just grabbing you, whatever. That's simple. Besides, it's safer to deal with the sticks first because you start understanding, and the weapons first because you start understanding the range of fighting, how the long range and the middle range and all that stuff. But the most important part, if we go with the stick, if I'm over here, and let's say, for example, I'm not even doing the stick, and I'm over here, see that range over here? It strikes over here, see? That's far range. This is where his hands usually is. But just that, if there's no stick, that's about only as far as he could reach me. You see what I'm saying? But because now he's striking over here, I need to make sure that I can get away from that. If strikes over here, I need to make sure I can be aware of that. Strikes over here, I need to make sure I can be aware of that. Strikes the leg, I need to make sure I can be aware of that. And the most important part, I start understanding the movement. So if he strikes, boom, and then I can go ahead and move in. And you gotta be quick. Now that's a knife and a sword. If I make just one mistake and he comes, whoa, and I didn't go get away with the, I can get easily cut. If he comes here, whoa, and then I can easily get cut. And then that's where the problem is. So your quickness and everything else happens. So if you don't have the weapons anymore, and then you're coming in, see, I can easily kind of come into him easily when he comes because I know the ranges of the fight and how it's gonna go. Because now I start understanding how the hands is just there, and then I can go ahead and pop in and move in and do some other things, So it really helps you with your quickness and your awareness of what's happening next versus just somebody grabbing you and you're so used, man, you're already there. You can already do the techniques and apply anything. If he grabs over here, boom, you can already headbutt him because you're so used to anything else that you can do because you're used to movements, dynamic movements with the weapons wielding at you any given time. That's why we start with the weapons first. Besides the culture part of the things, it's really, really a cool thing to train. So, Filipino martial arts, Philippine combative system, it's no different. We deal with the weapons first, and then from the weapons comes the empty hands. And when you can deal with the weapons right away, then your level of awareness goes up. You start understanding how to actually move and fight in reality-based kind of fighting, and mostly even in self-defense.